third best center fielder in all of baseball. Just take that in. Obviously, there's Mike Trout. And then there's Cody Bellinger, who's arguably the second, but he can also be first base. And then there's George Springer. And then it just falls off a cliff for the rest of it. Welcome back, everybody, to the 450 Dead Center channel. Chris here with Daniel once again.
Hello.
And we're talking about George Springer today. You know, considering he signed for, like, the biggest contract of Blue Jays history, we've only made one video on the guy.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it at all, and there's so much to talk about George Springer.
He's so good. So, you know what else is good, Daniel? The sponsor of this video.
Let's go!
This video is sponsored. Along with the baseball season comes betting season. Thanks to STS Sports, created by John Tudor. You may have seen him on ESPN. John is a data analyst, and he has a proven track record of making his customers money in the sports gambling world. They have hooked you guys up with their Weekend Warrior package.
This package includes a special VIP exclusive picks for your choosing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Usually the pick package is $99, but with the promo code of 450DC, you can get it for $49. That's a 50% off, you guys. You better listen up. So to take advantage of this package, go to sportstrading.com/weekend and use our promo code 450DC to get this amazing deal. Big thank you to John and STS Sports for the sponsor, and please remember to bet responsibly.
Legal ages must apply.
Oh.
Yep. You wanna talk about George Springer first?
Yeah, for sure. So George Springer, you know, he's a cheating a trash can banging person, or he was. But coming into 2020, that's what everyone thought he was, but he balled out in 2020. He's played well the last bunch of years. Jay's signed to a nice big deal, and
he's got that motivation.
Yeah, he's got motivation to prove that he doesn't need the trash cans in a full season.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing with Springer, one, we have an actual solid dead center fielder, you know what I mean? No pun intended.
We got the third best center fielder in all of baseball. Just take that in. Obviously, there's Mike Trout. And then there's Cody Bellinger, who's arguably the second, but he can also be first base. And then there's George Springer. And then it just falls off a cliff for the rest of everybody else. Yeah.
We have a center fielder who can play. I'm not going to say Gold Glove defense because he's not going to play Gold Glove defense, but he can play.
He can be MVP if he wants.
Yeah, average to above average defense. Can hit like an MVP, right? Has an arm in the outfield. So we have an actual center fielder, which is nice. We haven't really had that in a long, long time. And not also that, he is going to be looked to as the leader of this team. Or a leader, I should say, because I still think Bo and Kevin and Vladdy are the leaders. But he's going to look to a leader for this team. He's going to help the young guys out with their kind of development, I think, which is also the biggest thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, that's my quick take on it. Do you have anything to say on?
I've been watching these interviews on this one channel, and they always interview Springer, which is really nice. I like listening to the way he speaks. He's a very well-spoken guy, and I love that about him. And he's really humble, you know? He says when he comes to dugout, he doesn't want to be looked at as the guy to be the best player on the team. He said he's gonna fail. Literally, 7 out of 10 times you're gonna miss, you're gonna lose, That's just how hitting works in baseball. Exactly, that's how it works. So obviously there's gonna be not growing pains, but there's obviously gonna be failure. But then along with that failure, you're gonna have one of the best players in all of MLB, arguably a top 20 player in the MLB in the Jays batting lineup. He could be hitting leadoff. He could be hitting second. He could be hitting third. We don't know. But he's going to be good, and he's going to put this team on another level, along with giving the Jays that playoff experience that they need.
Yes.
He is probably, I would say, in my opinion, probably the greatest playoff hitter of all time. Maybe Reggie Jackson, you might put higher than that, but George Springer is up there.
Because you're forgetting about David Freese, but yeah,
he's
definitely up there.
How could I forget David Freese? He's so clutch.
You are definitely, he is definitely a playoff performer, which we're going to need if we're trying to contend for the World Series in the next, X amount of years from now to probably the end of his contract in 4 or 5 years.
Also, in those interviews, some of the reporters were asking if some of the players, younger players on the Jays, go up to Springer and ask for advice and everything, and maybe ask about his routine, how he goes about things. And he says he loves talking about that stuff with people, and that's what you like to see, man. You like to see one of those guys who are open to sharing how they get their success and everything like that. So obviously, he's going to do that now because he's with the Jays. But still, having a player who's willing to do that is so nice on this team.
I think one thing we overlooked for sure in my opening little spiel, and now that you're mentioning it, is his attitude. He's got a nice attitude, it seems like.
Hmm.
And we have it, like, obviously we had Donaldson and Edwin and Batista, and from what we've heard, they weren't the best attitudes in the clubhouse, some of
Hmm.
them. But Springer looks like he's a nice positive attitude. Looks like he likes to help the young guys, wants to get this team winning. And I think that's going to translate onto the field for sure. In some way, shape, or form, it's going to translate onto the field, either him having an MVP season or the team having a MVP type season.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he was like one of the first to immediately apologize after the whole trash
Yes,
can banging came out. Like he owned up to it, and
he
I
was the
respect him
first
for it.
person to say that he cheated and he feels sorry and all that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, not everybody's gonna forgive him, and you can't expect everybody to do that, especially if you're like a Dodgers fan or a Yankee fan, because they beat them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, he owned up to it. Altuve's like, oh, I don't know what happened, and then Springer's like, yeah, I mean, we did it. Like, it's obvious, and I respect him for doing that because if he like he knew he was gonna get hate for saying that, and he said it anyway because he owned up to it. I like him as a player like that.
I think that's what we're talking about. His attitude's really good.
Hmm.
I think the one thing I'm going to worry about him is always he's definitely going to get booed at stadiums for sure. Still, even though we left the Astros, he's going to get booed.
Daniel
Um,
Gurriel got booed, and he's the brother of Yuli Gurriel, who was on the
Yeah,
Astros at that
exactly.
time. I mean, those are just
They're gonna
Yankee
get
fans, though. So what do you can't
they're
expect
going to get
anything more.
booed.
Yeah,
I just if he can deal with it in a positive way and kind of just not let it get to him, which I think he definitely can for sure. He has the ability to.
oh yeah,
He's going to show to these younger guys, hey, don't listen to the crowd, just go out there and ball. Like
yeah. And I do think the best thing for Springer was to leave the whole Astros environment, because obviously their team is going to get booed for years on end at this point. But the fact that he left
100%.
and owned up to it, I think he's a changed man now. It's great. I'm liking Springer and the Jays, and he wants to put that behind him. I don't want to talk about the trash can banging the whole time because that was a while ago. But yeah.
it's obvious, but when you talk about Springer, when you talk about Bregman, you talk about Altuve, all those guys, right?
Yeah.
You have to mention it. You have to mention
You have
it.
to. I know.
It's a part of their history, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
On to a more positive note, one thing I've really liked about Springer during the spring training games is his approach at the plate. He is hitting line drives. He's quick to the bat, and they've been putting him in leadoff.
Yeah,
and
he's
you
aggressive.
are right. He likes the leadoff. He's aggressive in leadoff. And honestly, I could see him being there and then having Bo behind him, and we're moving Cavan down the lineup, which is scary to say.
Yeah, I mean, I would love Cavan in the two stick if Springer's leading off, but it's all right. If Springer can hit like 280 with like 40 bombs in the leadoff spot, like I'm not gonna say no to that.
Yeah, he is. I don't think Jay's fans really realize how good of a player Springer is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he was
like,
overshadowed
we
by
obviously
Altuve
know
and-
because we obviously know because we're big, like we religious into baseball. But
Yeah, exactly. When he was with Houston, he was overshadowed by like Bregman and Altuve and even Correa. But
Yeah.
I think Springer was like probably better than all of them, minus Bregman in 2019.
yeah, I would say he was definitely one of the best for sure.
For sure, yeah, he was unbelievable. Like you barely even heard about him.
And he's gonna have the ability to show it out in Toronto. Well, not Toronto, but for Toronto this year. So,
Oh yeah. Also, I know this doesn't have to do with anything, but man, he looks good in Blue Jay blue.
I like how he grew up playing on the Blue Jays. Was his
Yeah, his like
club when he was
little New
younger?
York
Yeah,
team.
like his
Yeah.
hometown team or whatever. And now he's on the Blue Jays. I'm like,
It's
oh,
a sign. It's like when Cavan Biggio was younger. He actually had a Blue Jays banner in his room, and then he got drafted by Toronto.
exactly. Like it's just
It's a
meant to
sign.
be. I'm expecting big things here.
Mm-hmm.
Springers has this team is going to be largely their success is largely going to depend on George Springer here, and I don't like saying that, but it's kind of true. If he plays well, we're going to do well. If he does
Yeah.
bad, we're kind of going to go into a slump.
Either
yeah,
way, I love the way of the energy that he brings to this clubhouse, and and the thing about his energy is that it's gonna revolve around all the young guys who have like crazy energy, like Gurriel, like Bichette, Biggio,
Yes.
Vlad, and all those guys. Their energy is gonna flow around him, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, he's definitely coming. He's coming already. He's already been a leader.
Mhm.
He's like you said, handled the press very, very well with the interviews and that so far.
Yeah.
So he's a lead. He's going to be a leader for this team for the next 4 or 5 years, whatever the deal was. I think it was 4 or
Yeah.
5. I think it was 5.
5 years, yeah. I can't
but
wait,
yeah.
Daniel.
I can't wait to see it. Can't wait for opening day, April 1st against the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to predict he's going to bat 1.
Imagine first pitch gone. That'll be so nice.
Oh, if he goes
Oh,
first pitch yard.
first
If he
pitch
goes
yard
first
off
pitch,
Garrett Cole.
you know what?
Oh,
He's done that a lot though. He's done that a lot. He's done it the most in I think MLB history lately.
really? Well, he is a
In the
power
last
hitting
like
leadoff hitter.
decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one season. I think he had. Then again, I think it was the trash can bank season, or was the year after.
But he was
the
all
year-
right
sorry,
in
the
the
year
trash can bank.
before.
But 2019 was his
Yeah.
best year. So
There was one year. I think he had like 6 like first pitch home runs in the season, which is like insane.
nice. Yeah. I mean, he's
First
aggressive,
pitch,
and I
first
love to
pitch
see
in the
that.
game, which is I love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
I remember in what's it 2018, literally the first pitch out of the entire season, and then the
Yeah.
our Cubs go yard off Miami. Oh, so funny.
I can't wait to just watch his. That's gonna be amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
All right, so I think that's gonna wrap this up. We don't want to keep this video too long because we're just talking about George Springer. But yeah, we love George Springer. Can't wait to watch him, and he's a new man in Toronto.
For sure. Gotta love him, Blue Jay Blue.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.